Hello everyone, and thank you for clicking on this video. Now, I'm sure as many of you have already noticed, there is a slight difference between this one and my last video, and that is the fact that I am talking. I wasn't really too sure how it would sound capturing both my voice and triggers at the same time, so I was a little hesitant on doing a recording that included both. And I was thinking that I needed to sort of get over, or overcome, I should say, that'd be a more positive way of phrasing it, my hesitation when it comes to voice and speaking during a ASMR recording. And I've been humming and hawing and what about this and what about thatting my way into procrastinating and putting this off for much too long. So I decided to go back and try and find the first ever ASMR video I watched. And unfortunately, it seemed as though the creator had deleted her channel. But I was lucky in that I found an archive channel that stated, with her permission, that they were able to re-upload her videos. And one of the ones they had re-uploaded just so happened to be the first ASMR video I ever watched. And it was called Let Me ASMR You, and it was by ASMR Aurorette. Already? I hope I pronounced her name right. And the concept of it was she just kind of showed off various triggers and items to see which got the best trigger reaction. So conceptually, it was a lot like the first one I ever did. But this time, I figured maybe adding speaking or my voice or some vocal triggers would maybe enhance the experience versus just throwing trigger after trigger after trigger at you. So to, I guess, start us off with our series of triggers, besides the hand motions and hand rubbing and finger flicking, would be, I think, my first time ever experiencing the actual trigger phenomenon out in the wild. And that was when I was getting my hair cut. The snip of the scissors just and I think this is a pretty universal experience in that other people, and maybe their first time experiencing triggers, would be from watching this as well. Or not watching this, sorry, experiencing getting their hair cut at a young age, be it by family or getting out and having it done professionally, and hearing the snip of scissors move around them. And I used to, because of this, and not knowing what ASMR was, and getting very relaxed during the process, used to really look forward to getting my hair cut, which, in all things considered, is very ironic, because I have the habit of not going to get my hair cut very often. I usually let it grow out a good bit before I go and get it cut. But something that I do enjoy that doesn't require me going out, and it's something that I have kept with me, is one of my old notebooks. I say old, but this guy was being used a few years ago when I was first studying for my IT courses. Now, it is a small, softcover notebook by a brand called CD Notebook. And the reason I chose them was because they came highly recommended by people online. And inside this little notebook is all basically a year's worth of self-study IT courses. I actually have a second one stashed somewhere. I just don't have it with me for this recording session. And the reason I chose this notebook, like I said, came highly recommended, but also because my pen's ink would actually bleed through the regular pages of a notebook, whereas this one, it did not. But I also just enjoy the way the page feels. It sounds very smooth to the touch. It is a little bit on the smaller side as far as page count, as it stops around, I think, 190 pages, which, oh, I actually hit it right on the head there, okay, which I'm not sure if for you guys, but for me, I have the handwriting and scribbles of a doctor, so those 190 pages was filling up rather quickly. But I enjoyed it all the same. It was very fun to use, and unlike other notebooks or spiral notebooks, it is flat on the edge. Meaning, I didn't have to worry about getting those awkward spiral indents on my wrists or arms as I was writing after flipping the pages. And I guess this would be the first trigger I myself ever did, and that would be tapping sounds. Ever since I was little, I loved tapping on things. And after watching ASMR Oret's video, I would end up going down what I guess you could call the ASMR rabbit hole. And I would end up finding other creators such as Heather Feather, or if I remember her intro correctly, Heather Feather. And I actually stopped watching her content, if I remember correctly, because she was having health issues at the time, and she stopped posting for a while. I'm not sure if she's continuing continued since then, and I am kind of curious about that now and kind of want to go do a search. But I also listen to quite a few other ASMR artists, and just to list a few, I guess. One that I found because I was suffering from a horrible migraine was an ASMR artist known as JoJo's ASMR, and he had a video simply titled Migraine Relief. And through that video, I quickly added it to my watch later and my playlists for ASMR because it actually helped me with my migraine. I don't know if it was like a case of I got my mind off of my migraine, I stopped focusing on it as much, or if it was, like he said in the video, the questions actually do just for some reason work. And as they are his questions, I will not be asking them here, and will instead be suggesting you go and check them out yourself. But the next item I have here is actually a set of wooden brushes. I have two kind of small ones here, and I also have two kind of, well, I shouldn't say kind of, they're pretty decent sized brushes, I think. At least the brush heads are. I'm not too sure as far as brush sizes. I am not a painter, you see. I've always loved the arts, be it singing, painting, drawing, but I never really had much talent, I guess. Though I feel like that's a bit of a cop-out answer, and just not trying. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I have much respect for people who are able to sit down and practice and continue doing so, even if obviously like their starting point isn't where they want to be. They keep at it, and I always respect that. That's why I've always kind of found myself looking up to and respecting the arts, be it voice acting, painting, ASMR artists, just drawing in general. I'll never look down on someone for putting the time and effort necessary to learn their craft, because in my opinion it's amazing being able to sit there, because truth be told, I've tried my hand at drawing a few times and have each time, whether it's because of my personality or expectations of myself, always kind of gotten frustrated and taken a few steps back, and by the time I finish taking those few steps back, I have a hard time jumping back in. That's why I kind of got that same little brain worm regarding ASMR. Because you see, I got the equipment for it, and as soon as I was about to start recording on my main computer, I realized my fans were super noisy, just like that motorcycle that just went by. I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but I then realized, oh no, I don't want constant fan noise in the background. What am I gonna do? So I ended up having to pull out the old laptop and setting it up to record these little attempts at videos. Well, I shouldn't say attempts at videos. This is technically going to be a video. But that's the little brushes. Say goodbye to little brushes. brushes and say hello to their older siblings, big brushes. Probably sounds different compared to the little ones just because there's more bristles going across the mic at once. But I don't know why I did that. I just want to tap the wood together. I am probably letting my scatterbrain show because it is around the time that I am normally going to bed, or at least I should be going to bed, but as fate would have it, I have a tendency of staying up late, much later than I should. And by later than I should, I mean okay, well, first of all, I work the night shift, so I already naturally stay up through the night till tomorrow, so I don't want anyone misunderstanding when I say I stay up till tomorrow. I have to as a part of my job, and I'm used to that sleep cycle, so just naturally I stay up until the next morning. But the only problem with that is I'm not at my job on my days off, so I don't burn off all that energy that I normally do, which causes me to stay up even later than I normally do. But you see, I think that's okay, because when I stay up late, that's when I start looking for other ASMR artists. And that's how I find creators such as Fred's Voice and Goodnight Moon and I just revealed my next item accidentally. It is the glass jar from my first video, or other trigger video I should say. There's only the one right now. And Fred's Voice is one that I discovered within the last 2 years, I'm wanting to say. Whereas Goodnight Moon is someone who I discovered a few years back, actually. I think the first one of her videos I saw was the chiropractic one. I don't remember its name, unfortunately. But for some reason, I really liked the popping or snapping sounds, I guess. Cracking sounds would probably be the best way to describe them, the cracking sounds. But I'm getting sidetracked. I'm giving free advertisement. That is what I'm doing right now. I'm not staying on topic, which, to be fair, there isn't really a topic. I'm just kind of talking. I am letting the spirit of the yap take over. Now, this glass jar is very special. It's very unique. There are many jars like it, but this one is mine. And the reason I say that is this was given to me as a gift. And inside this jar, if you can hear them, is little wood carvings. And these little wood carvings are of a specific word. It is a 4-letter word. And usually, the way this 4-letter word is used, every time I take the lid off, I give it a little shake is you may say that you don't have any of these to give when people tell you about their problems. So the person who gifted this to me did so with the intention of saying that I can no longer say that, because I had a jar full of them now, and I have yet to hand out a single one of them because I like the sound it makes when the jar is full of them. These are mine. I will not be handing them out. So even though I have a jar full of them, I have none to give. Ironically, with my love of tapping, I did grow out my nails for this, just for my ability to tap on things. If I'm going to be honest, I will probably decide to cut them after I'm done recording, because they're not unkempt or dirty, but they're certainly outstayed their welcome. And after the last video I did, where I showed off poker chips, I decided if I'm going to do poker chips, I should also do another trigger that I found I enjoy, and that is playing cards. And I got this really nice... Actually, I have a bit of a problem. I bought 2 decks of cards. One is from a movie franchise that I really enjoyed when I was younger, and I kind of want to go back and rewatch them. The Lord of the Rings. The last time I saw any of these, or any of them, was back in high school. And that was at a friend's house, because he decided he wanted us to stay up all night watching Lord of the Rings director cut movies. You can probably guess how that went. But this other deck of cards that is nondescript in any features besides the fact that instead of white, they are black, and the suites and houses are kind of holographic. Also, ironically, I'm not sure this affects the sound they make, they're listed as waterproof. So I'm guessing this is for, or this was made after people kept drinking and spilling stuff while playing card games at their houses with their friends. But after being in environments that include both poker chips and playing cards fairly frequently because of my job, I discovered that I really did enjoy the sounds of them. And because of that, I figured, why not get a set of my own? So that way I can try and convert people into enjoying them like I do, without them having to go to those places and losing money. Because if there's one thing I hate more than not being able to sleep, it's not being able to sleep and losing all my money. Right now, I'm trying my best to sort of layer triggers, you know, talk into one ear and do the sound in the other. so sure I'm succeeding. I am very amateurish at this. There's no special tricks or gimmicks that I have up my sleeve. Not yet. Maybe one day. This is what the holographic part sounds like to the cards. Let's see if I can shuffle them. Hold up. Going for it. Not the best shuffle, but it'll do, it'll do, it'll do. But some ASMR creators I will listen to also introduce me to new triggers. Like, for instance, the first time I ever listened to a ear cleaning trigger ASMR was when I listened to Pomo, or ASMR Pomo's her channel. And it's the first time I ever heard this sound. Sound of a wooden ear pick inside my ear, or inside the mic's ear, I should say, followed by the fluffy side. And ironically, I would end up getting an ear cleaning set myself. And I don't just mean the wooden pick. I actually bought, I think it's called, the company that I bought it from is called B-Bird. I bought a B-Bird ear cleaning set. And I have never looked back on ear cleaning since. It just feels so nice, in my opinion. I know earwax has a purpose, but something about using the little scoop and seeing your ear go from a little, not, I guess it would be considered a little gunked up or a little dirty, depending on if you have dry or wet earwax, to clean. Not to mention, it's just, like I said, just in my opinion, it feels really nice. I got a little addicted to it as far as almost daily ear cleanings. And every so often I would be very bad, very bad, and I would use Q-tips to clean my ears as well. I would stop doing that after I would, in a freak accident, tear my right eardrum. And I thought I had ruptured it at first, but I was still able to hear, so that put those worries away. And I thought everything was fine, and I went to work that day, only to come home and figure out I was still bleeding in my ear. Very, very slight bleeding, nothing too serious. And when I went to the doctor about it, I got my own little cranial nerve exam to see if I could still hear outside that ear. I had the doctor just kind of put a glove on, and she went, "Alright, let me know if you can hear this." Actually, one second. Let's see if I can. I do have a glove here. I'll recreate it as best I can for you. Imagine you're up on a doctor's table right now. Don't worry, you're not sick. I think. And she's kind of rubbed her fingers like that and brought it away to see if I could hear. And since I still could hear, she took out a little camera to look inside, and she saw that I had a very small, very slight tear at the top of my eardrum from the Q-tip. And she said, give it a few weeks and it'll heal. And I did. And thankfully it did. I did have a bit of dried blood built up in there that I had to use the B-bird to get out, which was admittedly a little nerve-wracking, just because I didn't know if by removing the dried blood, if I would kind of like picking open a scab, I guess. That kind of worry of like, oh, is it going to start bleeding again? But thankfully, it did not. And because of that, I just kind of cleaned it out the rest of the way, and that was that. Actually, since I have the glove on, okay. They didn't combine like how I thought they would. Okay, but I hope you enjoyed my ramblings and my rather random advertisements of other ASMR artists that I've listened to over the years. And maybe I'm weird in that I don't really listen to ASMR to like fall asleep. I kind of listen to it to just quiet my head down, you know, and just relax. Whether I'm reading, playing games, or just going about my day. I know there was a bit of time where I was actually working in an office, and because of that, I would pull on my earbuds and I would listen to ASMR while I was working in the office to just sort of keep myself relaxed throughout the day. And it felt rather nice, I'm not gonna lie. This is the case of the Lord of the Rings player card deck I was talking about. I don't think I will be opening it this session. I don't think I really have the right to open it up and start gushing about the series until I go back and rewatch the movies. Maybe I'll do that over my next few days off, when I have days off again, because I will be heading back to work soon. And I don't have enough time to watch all the movies, especially not the director cut ones. That'll be a whole like day and a half, especially if I include The Hobbit. But I'm rambling again. And I've taken up enough of your time. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know which trigger was your favorite, or if you preferred the voiceless trigger video, where I just went from trigger to trigger.